The trickle-down freak show with MAGA is just unbelievable, you guys. Laura Loomer, I'm just going to read to you what she posted. And I want to remind you, she has the president's ear exclusively. Listen to this. This is arguably witchcraft. I want to know which one of President Trump's geniuses chose a woman who literally talks to trees and spiritual mediums and who doesn't have an active medical license to be the U.S. Surgeon General. I would call her a witch doctor, but she doesn't even have a valid active medical license. So I'm not going to call at Casey Means MD doctor. You have no idea how many texts I have received from doctors who are members of Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster who were like, WTF is this? This is honestly insane. I do not believe for 1 second that Donald Trump made this decision. I refuse to believe it. This is so revealing. Number one, that she thinks like witchcraft is real.
Start there.
Number two, that there are physicians that support Donald Trump when he sat in front of television cameras and had the great idea for American citizens to get bleach and clean out COVID and then shine a bright light. This is insanity. These people are insane. I can't take it.
I shouldn't be laughing because it's so dangerous. This is a woman that's had national security officials fired. But I don't know what else to do but laugh because it's so absurd.
What I think is interesting about this is she has faith in Trump to have some competency. She refuses to believe that he would pick this woman. Like, that's the most jarring thing about it, that MAGA believes in witchcraft and all that crap. That's totally on brand for them. But that Laura Loomer is going down fighting, thinking that Trump is more competent than to pick this woman is really alarming. Okay. Next up, of course, Trump has nominated his 23rd Fox News personality to be in his cabinet. I am pleased to announce that Judge Jeanine Pirro will be appointed interim United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. And he goes on and on about she's a crusader and she's all this crime fighter and she's excelled in all of these things. Let me just show you a clip of her journalism career.
Here I am in front of the woods in Chappaqua looking for Hillary. You think I'm going to find her? You think she's anywhere around? Tune in tomorrow.
This is why China and other countries are not taking anything seriously.
Right.
Because
it's hard.
This is trickle down batshit crazy is what this is. You've got a lunatic at the top who is friends with Laura Loomer, who planted the idea of eat the dogs, eat the cats, thinks he's somehow competent, is talking about witchcraft. You have Jeanine Pirro, who humiliates herself every night on Fox News to the dumbed down rubes that think she's some legal eagle, some massive scholar. And here she is in Chappaqua looking for Hillary Clinton. I mean, what is going on in the United States of America right now? What is going on?
You know, it's so moronic and idiotic. You would, like a Saturday Night Live skit that had all of this going down, you would think it's a bridge too far. You'll never sell it. No one would believe this type of craziness. And here we are. And I think you're right. This is why China's not negotiating with us, because they know how stupid this administration is.
This is why our allies are colluding behind our backs going, what on earth is going on here? But this is what happens. And we always have to come back to this thesis statement. Trump was a failed businessman.
Right.
His entire image is all produced for television. He doesn't know come here from Sikkim. He doesn't know very simple, basic facts about the economy, about foreign policy. He's compromised. He's a convicted felon. He writes love letters to Kim Jong-un. And I want to remind everybody that during the last campaign, his microphone wasn't working, and he attempted to give the microphone a blowjob. And all of these MAGA Christians that are worried about witch doctors are all chips in on this guy. But speaking of MAGA Christians, this is really what they're all about. Put this up. Nancy Mace tweets, "Bye-bye, Gulf of Mexico. Actions have consequences. cry harder. And then it is a map of the Gulf of Mexico with a pin on it that says the Gulf of America. Couple things I want to talk about here. Number one, actions have consequences. So y'all are doing this to punish people?
Right.
Like this is a punishment and nobody cares. Like this victory that you think where we're all crying about it could give two shits. Call it the Gulf of America. Call Trump the 5D chess player. None of that hurts my feelings. When Biden called you guys trash, which you are, and you had a stage 7 meltdown, Trump calls every single liberal nonstop every day, radical left lunatics. Could give two shits that he calls me a lunatic. Could give two shits that he renames the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America, because he's some nationalist dipshit. That means nothing. It doesn't mean jack shit. What is happening here is we have a person that is violating the law, ignoring Supreme Court orders, and they do all this stupid shit to the 75 million trashy, stupid, dumb rubes, and they think this shit's cool. And she says, cry harder, because that is their policy.
Right.
Make the libs suffer. And they think that hurts us.
Well, the thing is you look at his accomplishments since being president, renaming the Gulf of America, or the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, is one of them, along with paper straws. And you have him tanking the American brand, the global economy, the stock market. The ports are empty. And she's running around taking a victory lap over the Gulf of America.
When she's not monitoring bathrooms.
Right, when she doesn't have a flashlight in everybody's vagina. Yeah.
Her side hustle is running around monitoring bathrooms, harassing trans people, and all gender. I mean, like, nobody cares. I used to work out at Orange Theory all the time, and sometimes the women's restroom would be locked. I'd go in the men's. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I've gone in the men's bathroom plenty of times.
Nothing happened. Okay. But to juxtapose all of that batshit crazy that I just showed you guys, from Laura Loomer to Nancy Mace to alleged, boozer, Janine Pirro, who's on, an all-nighter trying to find Hillary Clinton in Chappaqua in the woods, which that was weird as shit. There is a person who I think should be the leader of the Senate. There is a person from the jump who has told the American public, looked in the camera, gone on podcasts, gone on interviews, and said, what you're seeing is an authoritarian play. This is dangerous. It is illegal. And this man is Chris Murphy. And Chris Murphy got on the news, a month or two ago, and said, I regret voting for Marco Rubio. It was a mistake. And this man should be the leader of the Senate. Chuck Schumer needs to retire, because this is the type of seriousness that the United States government used to have. This is why other countries took us seriously. Now they all laugh when Trump renames gulfs. It's a point of humor. But listen to Chris Murphy. To me, this is a really important speech that he gave to the face of Kristi Noem. Play the clip.
With seriousness and respect, but your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States. Your agency acts as if laws don't matter, as if the election gave you some mandate to violate the Constitution and the laws passed by this Congress. It did not give you that mandate. You act as if your disagreement with the law, or even the public's disagreement with the law, is relevant and gives you the ability to create your own law. It does not give you that ability. Let's start with your spending. You are on track to trigger the Anti-Deficiency Act. That means you are going to spend more money than you have been allocated by Congress. This is a rare occurrence, and it is wildly illegal. Your agency will be broke by July, over 2 months before the end of the fiscal year. You may not think that Congress has provided enough money to ICE, but the Constitution and the federal law does not allow you to spend more money than you have been given or to invent money. And this obsession with spending at the border, as the chairwoman mentioned, has left the country unprotected elsewhere. The security threats to the United States are higher, not lower, before than when before Trump came to office. To fund the border, you have illegally gutted spending for cybersecurity. As we speak, Russian and Chinese hackers are having a field day attacking our nation. You've withdrawn funds for disaster prevention. Storms are going to kill more people in this country because of your illegal withholding of these funds. Your myopia about the border, fueled by President Trump's prejudice against people who speak a different language, has shattered many of this country's most important defenses. I acknowledge that you don't believe that people should be able to apply for asylum, but you don't get to choose that. The White House doesn't get to choose that. The law requires you to process people who are showing up at the border and who claim asylum. Why? Because our asylum law is a bipartisan commitment, an effort to correct for our nation's unconscionable decision to deny entry to Jews to this country who were being hunted and killed by the Nazis. Our nation, Republicans and Democrats, decided, wrote it into law, that we would not repeat that horror ever again, and thus we would allow for people who were fleeing terror and torture to come here, arrive at the border, and make a case for asylum.
Okay, I play this at the end of all of that other insanity because this is what American leadership is supposed to look like. This is what accountability is supposed to look like. He brilliantly laid out why we give people an asylum hearing. And you have Trump who's like, nobody ever celebrates World War II. I'm like, I think we've taken plenty of credit for our victory in World War II. But they play these stupid, superficial games. He's giving that speech to the woman who dresses up in costumes at a rate I've never genuinely ever seen. As a dentist, now she's in her law enforcement era, and this is not a serious person.
No.
And she is in charge of a very serious department, and she has left the United States of America vulnerable to cyber attacks from Russia and China. These people are chicken shit cowards who are way over their skis. And Chris Murphy should be elevated to the highest position a Democrat could possibly be in the Senate, because from the jump, he has consistently stood up against this authoritarian and illegal regime that is the Trump administration. He personally has taken ownership in his vote for Marco Rubio and said it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it. And he's moving forward, trying to hold their feet to the fire every chance he can get. Kristi Noem is a disgrace. For anybody to wrap up the Trump administration and say they're patriotic, it's bullshit. As he said, they feed into President Trump's narrative that he is prejudiced about brown-skinned people that speak a different language. That's what this whole thing is about. She hates who Trump hates, and she wants to cosplay being a big badass, and she simply is not.
I completely agree. I thought he was brilliant. And I will just say this. It is unbelievable to me that in the era of Doge, when everybody's talking about cutting federal spending, you have Kash Patel show up with no budget for the FBI. You have Kristi Noem going to run out of budget 2 months early because these people cannot manage their budgets. They cannot manage their offices. They can do nothing but show up and propagandize this administration.
Okay, that's all we have for this episode. Subscribe, like, comment so that we can feed the algorithm to get us to 1 million subs, and we will see you all later.